This morning I'm working on a 2015 Audi A7. It's got the 3-liter supercharged, and I'm going to be installing a upgraded supercharger pulley. It's just a smaller pulley, get more boost pressure. This one's also getting the intake valves cleaned and a new a crankcase valve and a lot of other repairs, along with some downpipes. So the easiest way for me to do that, instead of trying to do this pulley with the supercharger in place, I'm just going to be removing it. So first thing I have to do is get rid of some of this plastic stuff, this front cover, pull these 2 pins, pull these side panels off and remove that, so that I can get this this air boot out of the way. There's just 2 torque screws in here and then you can pull it straight back. Pull these engine covers, pull this aftermarket air intake pipe, and then just unplug all this stuff in the back. Your throttle body is going to have to be unplugged, your purge valve, and then just disconnect this plastic connector right here. These vacuum solenoids along with the rubber hoses, and then there's another plug back here, right here, for a pressure sensor, or a map sensor. Once you disconnect that, you can pull this lower pulley, the tensioner for just the supercharger belt. You just turn it clockwise, and then you can pull the tension off the belt and just pull it off of the front of the supercharger. So I'm gonna do that stuff right now. Okay, with that stuff all unplugged and pulled off, belt off the front of the supercharger, all the electrical connections in the back, including the throttle body. Kind of down low, this plug's a little bit difficult to see. Everything is unplugged. You have to pull these coolant hoses off of the front of the supercharger. It goes to the charge cooler. It's kind of built into the unit. I'm doing this on a hoist, so what I'm going to do is pull this line right off the car altogether, because it's easy enough to get to the bottom of it, and just pull the whole assembly right off the front of the motor. But if you're doing this on the ground, or you're doing this at your house, you can pinch these off with a couple vice grips, undo these clamps, and move these far enough away from the supercharger to remove the supercharger still. It's not that difficult to do that way. What you're gonna have to do is pull those off, pinch these hoses off, and then take this little Allen screw right here off the front, and then you can get enough movement there. So I'm gonna pull those off, and then these little plastic covers. There's just 2 Torx fasteners there, and then this plastic, this stops the supercharger from coming off. It hits it, so you're going to want to get that out of the way on both sides. You can leave this vacuum hose here and just kind of unclip it, move it out of the way. It doesn't stop anything from happening. Pull that cover off, then undo these 6 nuts. So that's what I'm going to do now. Alright, now with all of that off and those nuts removed, everything disconnected, front and back, I can just pull the supercharger straight up. You don't have to worry too much about, as far as, doing it real even or anything like that. It's on studs, so it doesn't really allow you to do much other than just pull straight up anyways. Might be helpful to have a friend, someone nearby, to help lift this with you. It's not that heavy, but it can get a little bit awkward. So I'm gonna pull this up out of there and put this on the bench, and then we'll go through how to pull this pulley off and replace it with your upgraded unit. Alright, so the puller I'm using for this supercharger pulley is made by CTS. Actually a really nicely made puller. It's a very hard press, so you're not going to be able to use any kind of generic, puller to do this, and if you do, it's more risky. So it's probably worth just investing in the right one. First, you're gonna have to just pop this plastic cap off the nose. So I'm pull that off with a little screwdriver or something. And the way this puller works is these go over both sides of it. It goes around the pulley like this, and then this sleeve, you put this on first, and then this slides on to those to hold it into position. So once it's on the nose of the supercharger, that ring locks it in like that, and then it goes around it like that. So then it comes with your bar that you place across here. Install your screws. Then this goes up against the nose of the supercharger. So that's what's gonna pull. You're gonna pull on this outer lip. So once this goes around the whole pulley, slide that ring on, and then you run that bolt in, and that's what's gonna pull. That's gonna pull that out. So I'm gonna do that right now. Alright, so now the puller is installed. Make sure you put a little grease on the threads for the center bolt that's doing all the work. It has a little square hole here for the for a 1/2 inch ratchet to stabilize this, so you're not just spinning your pulley. And then you can just turn this with a 19mm socket. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this off. Right, there it is. No damage to anything. All looks great. Again, this puller is excellent. It's definitely up for it. There's no key on this or splines or anything. It's just a smooth shaft, and then the pulley is just held on with friction. So it's a pretty hard press fit. You can, with this puller, I pulled this off with a 3/8 ratchet, so it wasn't crazy. You don't impact the puller or anything like that. Just do it by hand. Stabilizing it up against the counter with the 1/2 inch ratchet, and then using this was enough. So that's it. Now I'm gonna go find the new pulley, and I'm gonna get ready to install it. Alright, now I'm getting ready to install the new pulley. Best way to do it, there's no way to pull this onto the supercharger. What the puller acts against on the front of the supercharger is not a threaded hole or anything. So what you have to do is you have to get this pulley hot. Best way to do it evenly is to put it in an oven. You can use a real oven or a toaster oven, it doesn't matter. What I found works is just to run it up to about 450 and just let it cook for, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes, half an hour. Let it get real hot, and then after that, time is of the essence. You have to hurry up, run to the supercharger, or if you can get the supercharger close to the oven, that's best, and just stick it right on. You know, use oven mitts obviously, or if you have some welding gloves. Just let it get real hot, stick it on the front of the supercharger, and that's it. You can cool it off if you want. You can spray some water on it or something like that, but it's fine. It doesn't damage the seals or anything like that. I haven't had any problems with this. So just get it real hot, stick it on the supercharger. That's it. Alright, now with that pulley installed on the supercharger, all you have to do is just reassemble everything. Same way it came apart. The only thing you have to really be careful of is make sure all these little insulation things are all positioned correctly. Make sure this is centered like this over this little plastic breather, and also make sure this finger is positioned correctly into your oil separator. And then just reassemble. Thanks.